Now I want to introduce my good friend, Tim Goodwin. Tim's calling this show a musical novella. This is a love story of Danny and Katie, and it's set right here in Northfield. It's actually right down the street at the Blue Monday Coffee House. But what sets this apart from a concept album is the presence of a narrator, an observant figure who not only shares his own story of why he needs to write a love story, but also then creates the characters of Danny and Katie and lets them tell their own story through songs they trade back and forth to each other. I love the concept of this album. It really is wonderful. So, without further ado, I'm going to let Tim take over.
This coffee shop that we're in, Blue Monday, was organic before that was a thing. Chrome leg tables with red Formica tops, a bus station bench over there next to a well-worn IKEA couch. Eclectic would be a generous description. Garage sale might be another. It's not as old as it looks, but I think that might be the point. It's really just expedient and comfortable and cheap, but it has served as a gathering space in this town for years. College kids tap on iPads, a grandma scrawls with a real fountain pen. High schoolers sprawl in circles of solitude, each staring at a phone directly wired to the hive mind. A group of middle-aged women crowded around a small table are so boisterous, the old guys on the couch have to be sure to talk into each other's good ear to be understood. Conversations from one group bleed into another, forming a larger conversation. So it's a community of a kind, a bright bubble all its own. I come here to feel connected. I sit here in a corner making notes of my own. I'm isolated, I've shut down, unplugged, and logged off. But for good reason. We face ecological collapse. There's always a war happening. We've got refugees and the impoverished, the abandoned, and the denied. This feels different, out of control, or no, beyond control. Somehow, the oligarchs and the drug lords and the Pharisees and the sex offenders won. It seems like me and the other folks writing our poetry, yammering at our friends, sitting in a space where we could actually smell the coffee, couldn't or wouldn't see this coming. Then, a young woman passes by. A kid, really. Bussing cups and muffin plates, 16 or 17 or 30. Hell, they all look the same to me. They're all kids to me. She stacks the dishes in a gray bin. She's poised. She's industrious. She's purposeful. And so I have to stare. And then she glances my way, catches me. Shit. What does she see? An old man, alone, blank page before him in his notebook, with cold coffee. I realize I haven't shaved in a week, and this shirt doesn't fit too well. So I feel like I owe her an apology, or at least an explanation. But she smiles, like pretty girls can at a stranger, at a customer, an awkward face in the crowd, a rehearsed and polite smile that says, well, that happened. Or just, anyway. Awkwardness lingers in the air like smells unique to every town. And I look back down at my empty page, a story I don't know how to begin. And my cheeks burn a little, and I resolve not to burden her anymore. And then she pauses and comes to a stop. The dishes forgotten in her hands. She looks to the front of the store, past the students and the grandma and the yammering crowd and me, through the neon coffee cup on the plate glass window, fronting the street. And then she smiles for real, really smiles, joyful with anticipation. And I follow her gaze, and out on the sidewalk is a boy. That's all, just a boy. Nothing more than that, just another kid. But in that moment, everything. Ragged haircut, ghost of a beard, flimsy jean jacket with a few spots of rain on it. She holds up a finger like a wand that says, just a minute. Just a minute, and I'll be done, and I'll come to you. And he lights up, and he nods his head, and he laughs. I can't hear him, but I hear him anyway. And I think, the world's crumbling, but kids still fall in love on the sidewalk, ignoring the coming rain. Not bad. This might be a story worth telling. I was down at the Blue Monday. A middle-aged guy with a coffee and a book, thinking about my grown daughters and how this world's gonna look. Watching the girl working the counter and the waiting boy who caught her eye. The way they look to each other, new love building up inside. Ordinary acts of love find us in ordinary ways. Ordinary acts of love, just another ordinary day. The sporadic raindrops outside, holding a boy who waits in the rain. I remember being that boy and see her smile drift his way. His face comes alive and lights up beyond the neon cup in the window. Youthful love in a messed up world. Can't blame them if it's all they know. Ordinary acts of love find us in ordinary ways. Ordinary acts of love, just another ordinary day. She gave him a long soft kiss as they stood waiting for the rain. Ordinary acts of love find us in ordinary ways. just another ordinary day. Now, I've named the girl Katie, and she's 17, and she is definitely in love with that boy outside. His name's Danny, and he's there most days. He wanted to ask her out first, but he was too shy. I know because, well, I was a Danny, and I had a Katie, and I pined for her for what felt like years. Might have been a whole summer. But I never got up the nerve for more than one date with my Katie. And that one didn't go so well. From time to time, I think of my Katie, and I think, what if? No regret, but still, you always wonder, what if, right? Now, Danny's Katie watches him as she cleans the tables. She knows what he's feeling because she does feel it too. I remember that feeling, and I bet you do too. It's a good thing, even when it hurts a bit. One day last fall, she told her friends, he's cute. Something had changed. They told her what a cute couple they'd make, the way teenage girls do. And the verdict at a sleepover was unanimous. He would be a really good kisser, but she wasn't going to get to find out because he wouldn't ask her out, even though they had known each other for years, or maybe because they had known each other for years. Now, Katie knows nothing about blacksmiths, hang with me here, except to strike while the iron is hot. And for Katie, November couldn't get any hotter, so she asked him to the Sadie Hawkins dance. Felt good to make that first move. No fuss, no frills, calm and direct, preserved his dignity. Katie knew boys, no matter how shy, needed to preserve their dignity. Now, out on the floor, he didn't want to dance. Felt all awkward, all elbows and knees. But he danced because she danced. For Katie, his sweet sacrifice sealed the deal. They danced in a group. On their own, they danced silly, and then they danced slow, and then they kissed. Katie thought, damn, not much of a dancer, but that boy can kiss. Now, she started working here in this coffee shop last winter. Seems like every day she looks up front from the crumbs and the coffee stains and sees that boy outside, waiting on her for a change. Now, when you're kids, even when falling in love, there's always something sad and serious to even things out. Last winter, Katie's mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. I know, that's a lot. But those who can feel great love and joy have to battle some sadness as well, at least in the stories I tell. And life's gone on since the kiss and the cancer diagnosis. Kim and Ray, the couple that owns this coffee shop, they flex her schedule so she can go to her mom's appointments with her. Give her extra shifts to help with the bills, and that tip jar, that's hers. The other workers insisted. They said it takes a village, right? And I agree. I'm thinking Katie's dad must have taken off a long time ago. Memories of him fade away, sort of like a faded dream. Katie and Mom do just fine without him. They have each other, they have their work, and a village around them. Katie laughs at what a customer says at the counter. A joke I don't hear because I'm over in the corner. But I can see that she's friendly to everybody that comes in the shop, even the old guys sitting alone in the corner with cold coffee. This town is small. Every face is familiar somehow, though. And I wonder, does anyone really know Katie? At least that's how she feels, because isn't that how all teenagers feel at some point? Even with a Danny in waiting, smiling, pure love light outside. I saw him waiting outside the coffee shop. My shift ends here in a while. And every time I see that boy, there's nothing I can do but smile. An old guy in the corner nursing his coffee cup, and his eyes keep meeting mine. Kinda creepy, 'cause he must be at least 50. Looks like the rain is picking up outside. There are hopes and there are dreams. Hope might get us through the day at least. But dreams are meant for tomorrow. At least it seems that way to me. At least it seems that way to me. Hope he's as happy to see me as I am him. Oh, Mom and I can make our rent. It's been a long shift, it's been light on tips. I'm worried about Mom and her last treatment. There are hopes and there are dreams. Hope might get us through the day at least. But dreams are meant for tomorrow. At least it seems that way to me. At least it seems that way to me. Punch that clock and done, and out the door. He wraps me in his embrace, and we kiss, oh, what a perfect kiss. I hope the rain hides the tears on my face. There are hopes and there are dreams. Hope might get us through the day at least. But dreams are meant for tomorrow. At least it seems that way to me. At least it seems that way to me. At least it seems that way to me. Now we turn to Danny, shy Danny. Let me tell you about Danny. He's known Katie since the summer she rapped on his screen door. Want to ride bikes? When riding bikes was play and not work. It was the summer before 4th grade. Off they went, flying to the woods at the edge of town. Now, when I was a kid, the woods were just down the street and around the corner, before subdivisions and curb cuts and townhomes and sprawl consumed it all. There were trails and trees and scrub and wild strawberries, and it was all for kid stuff. That's where we learned to get along, to disagree, how to love without using that word, before boyfriends and girlfriends, before love bound by expectations and rules. Love that was bigger than words. Danny doesn't have much, but he does have both his parents. And they like his friends, and his friends like his parents. And so they hang at Danny's house most of the time. It's comfortable, it's easy. Sure, there are rules, but they make sense. And he's got a dim idea of his future. The military, maybe, to help pay for college. Or a trade school, so he can work with his hands. I've decided. Danny likes to fix things. He's young enough to think he might fix people, too. Since Katie, he's trying to write poetry. He's in love, after all. And words, like tools, might help him fix things. Here's one he wrote about Katie yesterday. Her smile, a quiet smile, taps me on the shoulder. I turn and find her there until it fades. I know, he'll get better. But he's not going to let her see that poem. He hasn't quite figured her out yet. Can't quite name what she needs him to fix. So that poem is scribbled on some graph paper and stuffed in the pocket of his jean jacket. There's a smell of rain in the air, and he cannot believe he's her boyfriend. That's the word he's supposed to use, but it still doesn't feel or sound right to him. It's a rare thing to successfully move out of the friend zone. In the history of love, it's only been done a handful of times. But he did it. Well, actually, she did it, didn't she? She asked him out. Boyfriend feels too small for what he feels in his heart. And he thinks maybe sometimes growing up means getting smaller somehow. I used to think that too. Buckle up, Danny. You have no idea how big you can be. Now, some fat raindrops plunk down around him. One smacks him on the top of the head, and the cold water runs through his hair. But he likes the rain at the end of a summer day. He imagines it washing away tears and faded smiles. Like that day in the rain, in the woods, they had pulled their bikes under scrub for shelter. Her hair clung to her face as she grinned, a little dirt smudge on her cheek that he wiped away. That was the moment he knew. He loved her beyond words, forever, just like a kid. I was waiting outside Blue Monday when your eyes found mine. You sent me a smile, and I felt myself come alive. When you came outside to me, my heart was in your hands. Got lost in your kiss, sinking in like quicksand. Sometimes I wanna run, sometimes I wanna hide. Sometimes I'm afraid of what's building up inside. I will always wait here for you, and whenever you come to me, you don't need to hide the tears I know you don't want me to see. Sometimes I wanna run, sometimes I wanna hide, sometimes I'm afraid of what's building up inside. Put your hand in mine, sends a wave to my toes. And being with you is all I wanna know. Sometimes I wanna run, sometimes I wanna hide, sometimes I'm afraid of what's building up inside. Sometimes I wanna run, sometimes I wanna hide, sometimes I'm afraid of what's building up inside. We're going to move over here. A good love story doesn't belong to any one time period. The one I need to write has no texting, cell phones, lockdown drills, banned books, social fucking media, or Riz. I have no idea how kids navigate that space now anyway. Maybe they don't. Maybe it navigates them. So, let's step out of it. When I was a kid, summer was a time for driving around. That's what we did when we weren't working or sleeping, just driving around. My first ride was a red Renault, a tiny contraption that with typical French creativity was called Le Car. It was a dented hand-me-down with a fabric sunroof that opened the length of the vehicle, and if you hit a puddle just right, the water would splash up over the windshield and smack your buddy relegated to the back seat in the face. Hey! The French probably called that little feature Le Douche. I learned to drive my dad's old Ford F-150. That was dented too. It had a 3-in-the-tree stick shift that then broke, and so my dad retroed a stick shift in the floor where you actually expect to find it. But occasionally it would get stuck in second gear, and so you had to stop, crawl underneath, and bang away with like a lug wrench or something till it came free. And that's what happened on my one date with my Katie. I don't think she was all that impressed. That's a true story, by the way. This summer, Danny needs a car for driving around, and I'm going to give him a mix of my two, so a hybrid of sorts, but it only runs on gas, and a lot of it. It's little and red with a big fabric sunroof, but from time to time, it still needs a kick in the chassis. And like mine, it was free. Danny wanted to pay something for it, but the man wouldn't take his money. He knew Danny was going to need it for gas, for insurance, for Katie, and he was right. And they've been riding around in that car all summer long. What makes Danny's Katie different from mine is that when he sat her in that passenger seat and took off with a lurch and an explosive backfire and a puff of exhaust, only to get stuck in second gear and then have to crawl underneath. Oh, there it is. So then he had to crawl underneath and bang away. She thought it was pretty cool. He could really fix things, and that was food for thought. Once again, with this Katie, a boy could keep his dignity, maybe even find a little bit more. This isn't a big town, as you know. Even when you stay under the speed limit, milk the four-way stops, you run out of places to go. So where do they end up? The Dairy Queen, of course. It's at the end of the main drag, opposite the college at the far end of town. I took some poetic license there. Townies hang out in the parking lot long after sundown. Music from car stereos fills the warm, dark air, giving the fireflies something to move to. Mixtapes make the rounds, traded hand to hand. Better than swiping through a playlist on a bright, tiny screen. That's no way to touch your music, or to have your music touch you back. Sometimes the girls dance right there in the asphalt in the parking lot, while the boys watch, not really sure what to do with that and how to move. Maybe there's a little beer and some weed, or whatever they call weed these days. Depending on the era, it could have been Mary Jane, or ganja, or grass, or cannabis sativa. In my day, it was pot, la pot. Whatever you call it, Danny and Katie don't use it much, if at all. They're not often seen in those farm field keggers either, or at a friend's party when the parents are gone out of town. It's not that they are uptight or scared or holier than anyone else. It's just that when they sit side by side in that car with the top open on a warm summer night in the flickering light of the big red and white sign with some chocolate dip on their tongue, maybe a napkin shared between them, Katie and Danny are feeling just fine. We were kids parked at Dairy Queen with fast cars on slow summer nights, eating hot dogs and soft serve, moving with each other just right. Car stereos played all the hits. Us girls danced and sang along. The boys did their boy things, looking tough and trying to stand tall. Summer nights, and oh, those summer nights, and oh, those summer nights can last a life. I felt safe in that night air as the sun set and the night chilled. I knew you'd see me standing there. Come and hold me, warm and still. summer nights, and oh, those summer nights, and oh, those summer nights can last a life. At times I find myself still living in that one humid summer night, when my first I love you hung there in that warm summer dew. And oh, those summer nights, and oh, those summer nights, and oh, those summer nights can last a life. A while back, I said lovers have to battle some sadness. There's always something serious in store. And we're talking about teenagers in a small town in America, a place where even a boy in love might have a hard time seeing a future. Danny watches his parents working day after day, all their long lives, without much to show for it, at least that he can see. But he does see the tense talk around the kitchen table about money, and he sees that last Christmas they gave each other cards for Christmas. So Danny's starting to connect some dots. They're going to be stuck here forever. And it kills him seeing Katie start down the same road already, with a tip jar that can't keep up with the bills. Life may be about dreams coming true in the songs, but already it's wearing her down. Now, Danny can't remember when he started thinking, I don't think I can take this fucking town anymore. But lately he's been saying it a lot and out loud. He says he wants to drive away as far as he can, as fast as he can. Tells Katie he'll bring her along. Fuck this old town, he says, in the dark of that car. Let's just fire up the engine and go. He imagines a place where no one knows who you are, who your parents are, their smallness, their pain, a place with no limits, no expectations, few rules, and hardly any rain. When he thinks of this place, he hears the word freedom because that's what he's been taught that word means. Danny's a kid. He thinks he's waking up. He thinks he smells the coffee. It'll be a while before he realizes that it's him that he's running from. And a man in flight can never be free. I set my sights on you way back in the 4th grade, when all you know is love, no idea how to act that way. The start of a brand new love, always comes as a surprise. No matter if young or old, love makes us both foolish and wise. This time can't hold us down. This time ain't all we know. This time won't hold us down. This time, oh, this time. Sometimes it sure seems like our triumphs, they run away. And sometimes it surely seems the failures, they come to stay. This time can't hold us down. This time ain't all we know. No, this time won't hold us down. This time, oh, this time. When life is nothing but this set of hopes and dreams, I ain't gonna let this place tell us how far we can reach. This time can't hold us down. This time ain't all we know. No, this time won't hold us down. This time, oh, this time. Let's point this hand-me-down car right into that sunset. I got us a tank full of gas, so let's see just how far we can get. This time can't hold us down. This time ain't all we know. No, this time won't hold us down. This time, oh, this time. So we need to find out if they left or not, right? So Katie laughs lovingly when she tells her friends about Danny's idea of running off. Or, no, scratch that. She doesn't tell them. That might betray a confidence. It would reveal the dreamer he really is. If you ask him how he's doing, no matter what, you always get a flat, "I'm fine." But the better Katie knows him, the more she sees a hurt come bubbling up like around the edge of a lid of a brimful crockpot set to high. Katie's learning that loving Danny is a balance. Wind in the hair, sweet on the lips 1 minute, and the pain and uncertainty he tries so hard to hide the next. Someday, when she's raising her own teenager, she's going to realize that that's just kind of how it is with teenagers. And they sat until curfew in that dark car, under the stars visible through the open roof, talking about what if. It was a fun fantasy. You remember those conversations with your friends, those all-night conversations. They described the studio apartment they would share to each other, The furnishings they would cobble together from Goodwill or curbside finds or garage sales. And the jobs they had in the big city and those bright lights. And the food options beyond burgers and fries or Pronto Pups or whatever Dairy Queen has. Live music beyond country and top 40. And they're lost in this fantasy until the smell from the Malto-Meal cereal plant wafts in through that open roof. Almost sweet, but tinged with hints of burned sugar as an aftertaste. Now, Danny dropped her off at midnight. Well, a few minutes past. But she can't sleep. Katie sits in the dark like I used to, I remember this, the only person alive in the world, like in an old episode of The Twilight Zone. The sound of a ghost train passing through town, bound for nowhere because everywhere is just like here. She'd miss the sound of a train. She'd miss the quiet Main Street after 10 p.m. She'd miss the smell of slightly burned chocolate and sugar. She'd miss the fall colors in the hills surrounding the town as the trees turn and the smell of coming winter rides in on a north wind. And the days cool quickly after sunset. So she comes back to the fantasy. We could go, she thinks. I mean, who'd miss us? Two random kids could easily disappear and get lost. We've never had our pictures in the sports section of the Town Weekly. We've never been on stage for a play or a rock and roll revival. And then a car turns the corner outside, and the light from the headlights swings around the room and lights up the family pictures on the wall and this furniture that smells like her and her mom. And the fantasy fades for good. This town is home. The train whistle blows and the diesel engine rumbles. This is the soundtrack of them growing up in this town. She dials his number and lets it ring one time and then hangs up. Train's whistling its way through this town. Got me thinking about if I should run or stick around. Living somewhere forever makes strange things seem right. Like a 2 a.m. train rumbling through town every night. Headlights swing around to family pictures on the wall. Another car passes by and all the light is gone. Sometimes all I know are shadows I can see. Those shadows swing around and then they taunt me. This little town is all we know. No, this little town will always be home. It feels like this world is floating upside down. How the hell can someone get lost in this little town? Everyone's telling me to go, but you know I gotta stay. As long as chemo poison runs through my mom's veins. Oh, this little town tonight and hold me once more. I'll leave the key under the mat by the back door. It's so hard to settle all this chaos down. The 2 a.m. train's whistling its way through the town. This little town is all we know. And this little town will always be home. After dropping Katie at home, Danny's fantasy crashes and burns in a fantastic car chase. That cop lit him up, and he just mashed the pedal down, saying, "Fuck it. They won't bother chasing me. I'm not worth it." But no, a high-speed chase ensues. And they set up those spike strips and that roadblock out on County 1. After his car comes to a rest in the ditch on its side, they drag him out through that fabric sunroof. No. Stop. That is not the story I'm writing. That's just how it plays out in his teenage brain, not fully formed. Danny fantasizes about going out in a blaze of glory just one time, as if you get more than one glorious exit from this world. The cop did light him up. He was going 40 in a 30. Danny just pulled over. I mean, really. "Hey, Danny," the cop said, his big flashlight in Danny's face. "How are your parents doing?" "Fine," Danny said, playing it cool. When Danny's eyes adjust, just enough, he recognizes the officer. It's Ted, who used to play church softball with his dad. Danny and his mom used to go and watch the games every now and then. His dad wasn't much of a player, not a good hitter, always just hit a bloop single over the shortstop. I don't know why the other team didn't just put everybody in left field. But he could really track down a fly ball. He never quit on a fly ball, never let one get away. Danny and other kids would chase the foul balls that bounced into the trees behind the backstop on the other side of the railroad tracks that ran right by the field. When a train passed by, the game would continue, but you couldn't hear much of anything except the chugging locomotive, the steel on steel, the groan of the railroad ties under all that weight heading out of town. Ted smiled. He was always positive and cheerful. "I'll give you a warning if you say hi to your dad when you get home tonight." He patted the roof of the car twice and said, "Slow down, Danny. Get home safely." Danny saw him laugh in the rearview mirror when his car backfired and belched out smoke as he drove away. Danny's home safely now. It's 2 a.m., and he's wide awake, staring at the empty world outside his bedroom window, contained in a circle of light below a street lamp. That's the whole world right now. Everything is quiet. The train whistle blows, and he looks at the clock radio. The little illuminated flipping number cards read 2:03 a.m. He imagines Katie sitting alone in the dark, quiet except for the sound of the train. She lives closer to the track, and the rumble of the locomotive fills the gaps between the loud whistles. And she can feel a slight vibration from the train at her house. They're used to it. The phone rings one time. Well, really, only half a ring. And then stops. He gets his keys and makes sure the screen door doesn't slam when he steps out into the humid summer night air. Cherry top light filled up my rearview mirror. Thought of running, then pulled the car over right here. Nowhere to go anyway, and too much to leave behind. Wouldn't it be something to go out in a blaze of glory one time? Like Pony Boy, Curtis, and Johnny and their gang. Living life so no one expects anything anyway. But life ain't like all those books we read in school. And if I ran, then I'd be letting go of you. The stories we tell and the stories we live always bring me back to you again. Cop lit up my face with his big flashlight. Said, slow down, son, and say hi to your dad when you get home tonight. Funny the places you'll go when living in your head, playing stories out to youthful heroic ends. The stories we tell and the stories we live always bring me back to you again. Like Huck Finn running away to the river to hide, and finding what is wrong might really be what is right. You can let yourself be dragged by currents and tides, or tie your raft to the love the world provides. The stories we tell and the stories we live always bring me back to you again. She knew Danny would come over. They had their signal. When Danny holds her, she feels safe. It's gentle. He's gentle. Her head nestles against his chest. His heartbeat slows, his warmth against her cheek. I love you, she whispers, and falls asleep. I love how you hold me, those times when I start to shake, and kiss me in the softest way, and tell me it'll be okay. Don't let go, don't let go, don't let go. I love love walking with you as the daylight fades, watching kids and their dogs, thinking of life someday. Don't let go, 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 don't let go. I love how you said the world would be just right if it was just kids and puppies playing in the evening light. Don't let go, 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 don't let go. Constellations move through the sky while the space between the stars stays the same. Don't let go, 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 don't let go. When my wife was expecting our first child, my parents' first grandchild, my dad told me this: your first job as the dad is to love the mother. But I knew this because I watched him. Just as it was for Danny, that's what dads did. Now, of course, Katie and Danny make it. Think this is a celebration of love and life. Think how angry you would be if I said, well, they didn't make it. So we're going to leap ahead in their lives a whole generation. Their only daughter, Jen, is now getting married. Danny's pacing back and forth at the Legion Hall in the back room. Why do fathers have to give a toast? He asks Katie. You'll be great, she says, as she straightens his tie and pats him on the lapels, and then leaves him to his thoughts, which are ill-formed at this point and just adjectives. She's kind, she's funny, she's strong, she's perseverant. And the man she's marrying is the same, and they like him. Danny's lost in thought now, reviewing the life that he and Katie built, and he misses his parents. He misses their calm hand and their steadiness. And he wipes away a tear and straightens up a bit, composes himself. They're gone now. They won't see Jen walk down the aisle. But he smiles, thinking of his daughter, their only grandchild. So much of who she turned out to be is from them. They were always there to help raise her. We all have our own ways of expressing gratitude for such gifts to those that we love. For the important gifts, not just the winter coats and the help with new shoes and clothes, maybe rent sometimes. who was nice and appreciated, but really for the unconditional love. Of course, Katie's mom makes it. She beat the cancer. This wouldn't be a triumphant story if she hadn't. I'm thinking Jen talks to Katie's mom on a regular basis. Jen knows how much it means to Grandma to hear from her. As Katie once said about Jen, strong in that one, the responsibility gene runs. Danny is happy for the life Jen is starting, even though it's far away from where he and Katie live, from this town. But she may return at some point with her own family. There's peace and quiet to be had in this town, right here. When our little girl was born, you said, that baby in your arms looks good on you. Can't believe how fast life changed. Those few months after we said I do. Man, our wedding was such a blast. Your mom danced and sure came alive, showing off her hair that came back all curly, belting out, I will survive. My dad pulled me aside that night, said your first job as the dad is you got to love the mother. Love the mother. The first night we let her cry herself to sleep. We sat there, backs pressed against her bedroom door, and held each other, drying our tears, until no one was crying anymore. And that first day of kindergarten, you sure were a wreck that whole day. Like you sent our daughter off to war, in a foreign land so far away. My dad's voice is in my head. You got to love the mother. Love the mother. Remember the night of a senior prom, that boy we didn't really like. We snapped photos and waved goodbye, watched home movies of our little girl that night. And then we found a little bag of weed and sat in the backyard and smoked it. The stars were shining so bright, and then you got real quiet. I hear his voice once again. You got to love the mother. Love the mother. Then we sent her off to college. We both cried like babies that day, like sending her off to another war, in that foreign land so far away. I walked our girl down the aisle tonight. We danced, drank champagne and too much wine. Our friends and family at the Legion Hall Watch him drive off, cans clanging behind. I told him the same thing my dad told me. You got to love the mother. Love the mother. Love the mother. Love the mother. The wooden bench swing creaks as they slowly rock back and forth. The sun has set on a perfect fall day, and they watch my favorite part of a sunset, an ephemeral band of green light between the oranges rising from the horizon and the dark descending down from above. Lightness meeting darkness in this sweet spot, right in the middle. The sound of the swing, a cool breeze, and songbirds singing the day to a close. Jenny's wedding was this past summer, and they have settled back into their empty nest. Katie sneaks a look at Danny, as she often does. She takes his hand and rests her head on his shoulder. And he touches her cheek, remembering that dirt smudge from that rainy day riding bikes. She tells him he's been a good husband and father, and she tells him that she loves him. He knows this, but it's always nice to hear it. He considers responding, "I know," but decides silence is a better option. I think he made the right choice. I want to tell Katie and Danny this. Love isn't just big things, big gifts, grand gestures, good sex. It's about the little things that happen every day. Ordinary acts of love during an ordinary day. Even just a smile and a laugh. My wife smiled at me and laughed at something I said the other day, and I thought, God, I live for that smile and laugh. I'm happiest when I'm quietly sitting, watching my wife sit and talk with her two daughters, and how easy that is and how much they laugh when they do that. Seeing how they really did get the best of both of us, and their grandparents, and the whole village. I could listen to that sound forever. I want to tell Katie and Danny all of this. They'll figure it out, grow into it. I know so because, well, that's the story I've written for them, that they figure it out. It's the little moments in life that makes me think of how far we've come. From two lost kids finding our way to an old couple watching the setting sun. When your smile still drifts my way, I'm transported back in time. Standing there waiting for the coming rain, and the feel of your warm hand in mine. And oh, how far we've come together in each other's love. And oh, how far we've come. Together in love. Together in love. But it's not just those sweet memories that makes this marriage so strong. We've compromised and then forgiven, done what it takes to always get along. Our girl has moved far from home and now walks her own path. I see the best of you in her and get joy watching you two laugh. Know how far we've come together in each other's love. Know how far we've come together in love. Together in love. Just another ordinary day with ordinary acts of love. In this town, oh, this town, we made it a good life. We made it a good life. Know how far we've come together in each other's love. Know how far we've come together in love. Together in love. Together in love. Now, Katie and Danny, as I have named them, have had their teenage kiss that sent me on this journey of creating their story, their perfect kiss, at least to her anyway. That's the thing with teenagers in young love. Reality and perception aren't necessarily the same thing, but that doesn't matter. That was hours ago and many refills ago. The middle-aged women and the old men yelling into each other's good ear have gone home. The crowd is turning over to the evening contingent. More college kids, more high schoolers sitting at tables together, yet tunneled into the outside world through their devices. I want to stand up and yell, find love, find hope, find beauty here, now, with each other. But I don't. I close my notebook and keep thinking of Katie and Danny swaying back and forth on that creaking swing. A silhouette of a partnership against the sunset where I've left them. On the walk home, in the cooling night air, and between the streetlights, I look up and I see a hint of the Milky Way, or at least I imagine I do. And I smile in anticipation of getting home to the Katie I did marry. A partner who has learned that loving me means letting me disappear into my own head at times, but knowing that I will always come back with stories and gifts for both of us. Like the sound of falling leaves, even when I don't like what they tell me. The Milky Way across the sky, and how it won't let me believe my eyes. I like the fall sky when it clears, and the cool air that dries old tears. The feel of a soft north breeze, and how it lets me feel free. And I find a little hope in time. Like the daily sounds of us and what they tell me about love. All those little things we do and how they say I love you. And I find a little hope in time. I like the sound of sad love songs, telling us what we knew all along. A laugh, a smile, and a kiss, and how maybe that's all there is. And I find a little hope in time. And I find a little hope in time. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I want to thank Jake and Lindsay for making this space available to us. I want to thank Tom for sharing his songs at the beginning with us. I want to thank my wife for everything else. But mostly I want to thank you all for coming and sharing your story and being willing to do that and opening yourselves up to this story. So thank you very much.